The SABS acting CEO Lungelo Ntobongwana has dismissed as false claims of a move by the entity's executive to unilaterally implement restructuring without consultations. He says this is a process that started from 2022 with the unions. This was to bring stability to an entity that was placed under administration in 2018.
Indeed, SABS embarked on a restructuring process. We call it organizational review process that started around about 2021. The outcome of that process, or the end part of the process, is then the implementation of the salaries in line with the employees that have been placed on the rolls. So it's not been a unilateral discussion. We've been engaging with the union for a number of time, and the last engagement was until Friday, facilitated by the CCMA.
But this was quickly dismissed by NEHAWU. The labor union is accusing the management of embarking on this process in bad faith.
What they call consultation in some instances, it is just to inform us. On some of the issues where they must negotiate, they want to consult. On some of the issues where they must consult, they are doing it incorrect. For example, just as we were developing the terms of reference for the restructuring, they went ahead despite our objections that were not addressed. We had to go to the CCMA to say they need to halt the restructuring process, they need to halt the placement process so that there's an agreement on the framework terms of reference.
The SABS falls under the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, with both parties in agreement that there's an urgent need to stabilize the leadership of the entity through the new minister.
I've written to the ministry as of Thursday or Friday last week, informing them about the need to ensure that there's compliance to the Standards Act, which is the document that guides us. One of the things is to ensure that the composition of the board is adequate. So the ministry is entrusted with that process because the board members are appointed by the ministry. It's been a long-standing issue. There's a change in administration, and we've got confidence that now that we've brought it to the ministry, it's a matter that's going to be prioritized.
NEHAWU is planning a bigger march to the door of the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition next month. The union has raised concerns about the attitude of the current SABS management on collective bargaining and job security.
One of our biggest sore points about this restructuring process, before it, executives here were on contract, 5-year contracts, which is really good corporate governance, because at that level, it's a strategic level where people must be performed, and if they are not, they must be able to justify their employment given their huge salaries. So the outcome of this process was such that these people engineered a restructuring that moved themselves as executives from contract work to permanent employee. Today we'll be dispatching a letter to the new minister where we're also demanding that he reverses this appointment. These people must be contract, and part of the reason where we have this chaos we are having, it's people who design a restructuring that is self-serving.
The meeting that was set for an hour dragged for the whole day. Workers continued with their demonstrations as they get updates in between from their union leaders, vowing to reject anything that deviates from their demands. The SABS says it has put contingency measures in place to tackle disruptions to operations, with the workers maintaining that nothing is happening at the facility affecting laboratories across the country, on amongst others the testing on standards and product certification. Katlego Nogodi, SABC News in Pretoria.